The Beekeeper 2 is an upcoming action thriller film directed by Timothy Yagintu and written by Amir Alim. It serves as the sequel to The Beekeeper, 2024, with Jason Statham, Emmy Raver-Lampman, Bobby Nattary, Gemma Redgrave, and Jeremy Irons reprising their roles, and Yara Shahidi, Pankaj Mentiev, and Adam Copeland joining. The Beekeeper 2 is scheduled to be released theatrically in Germany on January 14, 2027, by Leonine Studios, followed by the United States and United Kingdom the following day, by Amazon MGM Studios. Cast: Jason Statham as Adam Clay, a highly skilled assassin known as the Beekeeper. Emmy Raver-Lampman as Verona Parker, an FBI agent. Bobby Nattary as Matt Wiley, an FBI agent and Verona's partner. Gemma Redgrave as Jessica Danforth, President of the United States. Jeremy Irons as Wallace Westfield, the former CIA director now head of security for Danforth Enterprises. Yara Shahidi. Pankaj Mentiev. Adam Copeland. Production. In February 2025, it was announced that a sequel to The Beekeeper was in development, with Timothy Yagintu directing, and Kurt Wimmer writing the screenplay. Jason Statham would reprise his role as Adam Clay, as well as producing on the film. 2 In May 2025, Wimmer was replaced by Amir Alim for writing the screenplay. 3 In September, it was announced Jeremy Irons would reprise his role as Wallace Westfield. 4 Emmy Raver-Lampman, Bobby Nattary, Gemma Redgrave, Yara Shahidi, Pankaj Mentiev, and Adam Copeland joined the cast later that month. 5, 6, 7. Filming. Principal photography began on September 26, 2025 8 with production occurring at Shepperton Studios. 9 Callan Green serves as the cinematographer, marking his second collaboration with T. Yagintu after Nobody 2. 10 On November 29, T. Yagintu announced via Instagram that filming for the movie had wrapped. 11. Release. The Beekeeper 2 is scheduled to be released worldwide on January 15, 2027, by Amazon MGM Studios. 12. In May 2025, it was confirmed that Amazon MGM Studios would return as the distributor to the sequel, acquiring worldwide rights for over $50 million. 3 In November 2025, it was announced that Black Bear Pictures would handle sales on the film at the American film market for the Middle East, North Africa, and Asia, with Amazon MGM retaining all other rights. 13 In March 2026, Leonine Studios, which also distributed the first film in Germany, acquired distribution rights to the sequel, excluding the Pay 1 window, retained by Amazon Prime Video, for German-speaking Europe, scheduling it for a theatrical release in Germany on January 14, 2027. Jason Statham, /STEM/STATHM, born July 26, 1967, is an English actor. He is known for being typecast as tough, gritty, or violent characters in action thriller films, and has been credited for leading the resurgence of action films during the 2000s and 2010s. By 2017, his films had grossed over £1.1 billion, $1.5 billion, making him one of the industry's most bankable stars. 3 films in which he has appeared have grossed over $8.5 billion worldwide. 4. Statham began practicing Chinese martial arts, kickboxing, and karate recreationally in his youth while working at local market stalls. An avid footballer and diver, he was a member of Great Britain's national diving team and competed for England in the 1990 Commonwealth Games. Shortly after, he was asked to model for French Connection, Tommy Hilfiger, and Levi's in various advertising campaigns. Statham's history of working at market stalls inspired his casting in the Guy Ritchie crime films Lock, Stock and Two Smoking Barrels, 1998, and Snatch, 2000. Both films were commercial hits, and they helped catapult Statham to stardom. 5. He went on to play supporting roles in the American action films Turn It Up, 2000, Ghosts of Mars and The One, both 2001. From 2002 to 2008, He played the title role in the first 3 films in the Transporter film series, 2002 to 2008, which solidified his status as an action star. In 2003, he appeared in the ensemble heist action film The Italian Job. He went on to play leading roles in commercially successful films such as Crank, 2006, The Bank Job, 2008, The Mechanic, 2011, Homefront, 2013, Mechanic, Resurrection, 2016, The Meg, 2018, Wrath of Man, 2021, Meg 2, The Trench, 2023, and The Beekeeper, 2024, among others. Statham has also starred as Lee Christmas in the ensemble action film series The Expendables, 2010 to 2023, and as Deckard Shaw in the Fast and Furious franchise, 2013 to 2023, including the spin-off Hobbs and Shaw, 2019, which he co-produced. His voice acting work includes the documentaries Thai Boxing, A Fighting Chance, 2002, Truth in 24, 2008, and its 2012 sequel, and the animated film Romeo and Juliet, 2011. Early life and education. Jason Statham was born in Shirebrook, in the county of Derbyshire, England, on July 26, 1967, the son of dancer Eileen, née Yates, and street seller Barry Statham. 8. His father also worked odd jobs as a house painter, coal miner, and singer in the Canary Islands. 9. Statham moved to Great Yarmouth, where he initially chose not to follow his father's career working the local market stalls, instead practicing martial arts. He grew up alongside football player Vinnie Jones, with whom he would later act. Jones introduced him to football, and Statham went on to play for the local grammar school, which he attended from 1978 to 1983. He was also passionate about diving, practicing daily to perfect his techniques. 10. He was a member of Great Britain's national swimming squad for 12 years 11-12 and competed for England at the 1990 Commonwealth Games in the 10-meter, 3-meter, and 1-meter events, coming 10th, 11th and 8th respectively. 13. He said in a 2003 interview that his time with the national squad was a great experience that taught him discipline, focus, and certainly kept him out of trouble. 14. Statham was spotted by the sports modelling agency Sports Promotions while training at London's Crystal Palace National Sports Centre. He was signed by Tommy Hilfiger, Griffin, and Levi's for various modelling contracts during their 1996 spring and summer collections. 15. In 1997, he became a model for the clothing brand French Connection. A spokesperson for the high street clothing chain said, "We chose Jason because we wanted our model to look like a normal guy. His look is just right for now, very masculine and not too male modelly." 7. However, he was still forced to follow in his father's footsteps as a street seller to make ends meet, stating that he sold fake perfume and jewelry on street corners. 9. He made small appearances in a few music videos, including Comin' On by The Shaman in 1993, Run to the Sun by Erasure in 1994-17, and Dream a Little Dream of Me by The Beautiful South in 1995. 18-19. Career. 2000 to 2010, rise to prominence. Statham in 2007. While working as a model for French Connection, Statham was introduced to fledgling filmmaker Guy Ritchie, 20, who was developing a film and needed to fill the role of a streetwise con artist. After learning about Statham's past as a market stall salesman, Ritchie cast him in the crime comedy thriller Lock, Stock and Two Smoking Barrels, 1998. 21. The film was well received by both critics and audiences, and helped put Statham in the public eye. For his role, he was paid £5,000. 9. Statham's second collaboration with Ritchie came with Snatch, 2000, which earned more than $80 million at the box office. For his role in Snatch, he was paid £15,000. 9. He was then able to break into Hollywood and appeared in 2 films in 2001, the science fiction action horror film Ghosts of Mars and the science fiction martial arts action film The One. In 2002, he narrated the martial arts documentary Thai Boxing, A Fighting Chance, 2002, which follows the lives of three individuals who come from very different backgrounds that are all training Muay Thai, each with their own unique motivations and stories, as they prepare for their next fight. 22. Statham was offered more film roles and was cast in the lead role of driver Frank Martin in the action film The Transporter, 2002, written by Luc Besson. 23. The film spawned two sequels, Transporter 2, 2005, and Transporter 3, 2008. He also played supporting roles in Mean Machine, 2002, The Italian Job, 2003, Comet 24 and as the lead villain in Cellular, 2004. In 2005, Statham was once again cast by Ritchie to star in his new project, Revolver, which was a critical and box office failure. 25. He played a dramatic role in the independent film London in 2005. In 2006, he played the lead role in the action film Crank. Statham was asked to promote Crank during the 2006 San Diego Comic-Con convention. 26. In 2008, Statham starred in the British crime thriller The Bank Job and Death Race, a remake of Death Race 2000, 1975. American film critic Armand White hailed Statham's ascension as an action film star. On the occasion of Death Race, White championed Statham's best track record of any contemporary movie star. 27. Later in 2008, White praised Statham's Transporter 3 as a great example of kinetic pop art. Chris Hewitt of Empire magazine noted the film as a dour, drab affair, but credited the film with establishing Statham as a new action hero, as at ease with gruff one-liners as he was with Jackie Chan-esque high-kicking. 28. In 2009, Statham started to develop a new movie written by David Peoples and Janet Peoples. Statham stated, "We've got a movie we're trying to do, written by David Peoples and Janet Peoples, in the vein of an old film, The Treasure of the Sierra Madre. It's not a remake or anything, but it's a little bit like that, about relationships and how greed contaminates the relationships these three people have." The working title is The Grabbers. 29. He reprised his role as Chev Kelios in the 2009 sequel Crank, High Voltage. 30. In 2010, Statham appeared alongside fellow action stars Sylvester Stallone, Jet Li, Dolph Lundgren, and Mickey Rourke, among others, in the ensemble action film The Expendables. Statham plays Lee Christmas, a former SAS soldier and expert at close quarters combat using knives. 31. The film was commercially successful, opening at number 1 at the box office in the United States, the United Kingdom, China, and India, and grossed a total of $274 million worldwide. 32. 2011 to 2015, commercial expansion. Statham in 2012. In his first film of 2011, Statham starred in the remake of the 1972 Charles Bronson film The Mechanic as Arthur Bishop. A theatrical trailer depicting Statham's character shooting a man's head off was banned from circulation by the Advertising Standards Authority for showing excessive violence. 33. His role in The Mechanic was positively reviewed by the critics both in the United States and the United Kingdom. The Guardian praised his performance as possessing a now customary efficiency in attaining an entertaining hitman thriller. 34. The New York Times noted Statham as sleek as a bullet, and the film a more powerful recharge of the original. 35. UK newspaper, The Daily Telegraph hailed Statham as England's best export to action movies in just about forever, a business-like brute with gentlemanly soul. 36. He returned to British film by starring in the police drama Blitz as Detective Sergeant Tom Brandt. The film received mixed reviews, with Kath Clake of The Guardian reviewing it as not half bad and oddly entertaining. 37. He was then cast in the action film Killer Elite. The film was based on real events, which were the subject of Sir Ranulph Fiennes' novel The Feather Men. Statham played an assassin named Danny who comes out of retirement to save an old friend, played by Robert De Niro. 38. The film grossed returned a negative budget, and was panned by the critics. 39. In August 2011, he began filming Parker for director Taylor Hackford. The film was released in January 2013. Statham played Parker, the criminal anti-hero previously played by Mel Gibson in 1999's Payback and by Lee Marvin in 1967's Point Blank, though their characters were given different surnames. 40. A.O. Scott of the New York Times said of the actor in the film, Statham, who seems to be made entirely of muscle and scar tissue, is comfortable with his limitations as an actor. His Parker, in any case, is more of an axiom than a fully rounded human being. 41. A 2012 BBC News report estimated that his 10-year film career to date, 2002 to 2012, yielded over $1 billion in the box office, making him one of the industry's most bankable stars. 3. He was signed on to reprise his role as Lee Christmas in The Expendables 2 in 2012. 42. Statham, center, at the 2014 Cannes Film Festival. In 2013, Statham had a cameo appearance at the end of Fast and Furious 6 as the brother of the film's antagonist Owen Shaw, Luke Evans. 43. He reprised the character, this time as the main antagonist, in Furious 7, which was released in April 2015. 44. 45. 46. He also starred opposite James Franco in the thriller Homefront, written by Sylvester Stallone. 47. And headlined the British thriller Hummingbird. The latter film was praised by critics for pushing Statham's acting abilities to new heights. His attempt to develop his brand by trying more adventurous parts, noted by The Guardian's Mark Kermode, broadened his dramatic palette. 48. 49. Statham made a cameo in the 2014 music video Summer of Calvin Harris as one of the car racers. In 2014, he returned as Lee Christmas in The Expendables 3. Although critically panned, 50. The film would go on to gross $215 million against a $90 million budget. 51. In 2015, he starred in the action comedy Spy alongside Melissa McCarthy, Jude Law, and Rose Byrne. The film, a commercial success, was particularly praised for showcasing Statham's comedic side in contrast to his more serious roles. 52. 53. 54. 55. According to an article by Empire magazine, A Spy 2 was development in late 2015, with more screen time dedicated for Statham's character, Rick Ford. 56. He was nominated for the Critics' Choice Award for Best Actor in a Comedy for his role in Spy. 57. Statham was offered a 3-film contract to reboot the Transporter series in late 2015, but turned it down because he was not given the script before the signing date and unhappy with its compensation package. 58. 59. According to an article by The Guardian, Statham expressed interest in playing James Bond in the upcoming Spectre film. Its author, Steve Rose, noted that there was no doubt Statham can walk the Bond walk. And talking his talk can hardly be an issue with a character whose accent has fluctuated between Sean Connery's Scottish brogue and Timothy Dalton's Welsh. 60. After the interview, there were multiple calls from critics and the public to instate him as James Bond in a future film. 61. 62. 63. 2016, present, continued success. The sequel to his 2011 film The Mechanic was scheduled for production in late 2016 and announced to open as Mechanic: Resurrection. The film received mixed reviews but was highly commercially successful, grossing $109.4 million worldwide on a budget of $40 million. 64. According to Forbes, the film was Statham's 7th biggest earner and most commercially successful solo film venture of his career. 64. In February 2017, he starred alongside Gal Gadot in a 30-second Super Bowl advertisement for Wix.com during Super Bowl 51. 65. CNET reported that the advertisement reached 22 million user impressions. 66 Statham was asked to rejoin the Fast and Furious franchise once more in 2016. The ensuing film, The Fate of the Furious, was released in April 2017 to commercial success. While the film overall received mixed reviews, Statham was praised for his comedic timing and on-screen chemistry with contemporaries. 67, 68, 69 The film went on to be the third highest grossing film of 2017 and the 12th highest grossing film of all time. 70, 71 Spy 2 was confirmed on February 15, 2018. 72, 73 But later in 2018, Feig explained that although a sequel to Spy could still happen, there hasn't been any interest from the studio in the project. 74-75 Statham played the lead, former naval captain Jonas Taylor, in the 2018 action horror film The Meg, which was released on August 10. The film would go on to gross $527.8 million worldwide, becoming the highest grossing U.S. Chinese co-production of all time. 76 In 2019, Statham reprised his role as Deckard Shaw again in Fast and Furious Presents, Hobbs and Shaw, a spin-off of the Fast and Furious franchise focusing on his and Dwayne Johnson's characters. 77-78 The film grossed $758 million worldwide, becoming the 10th highest grossing film of 2019, and received generally positive reviews from critics, with praise for Statham's performance. 79 In 2022, Statham established his own production company, Punch Palace Productions. Citation needed. Public image. An article by Adam Gabot in The Guardian noted that Statham's character contributions to his industry and film niche are tough and uncompromising. 80-81 Some critics note his presence as a defining feature that signals to moviegoers the content of a film. 82 The same expose commented, "You know what you're getting with a Jason Statham film. He will beat people up. He will crash cars. He will do an unconvincing American accent." 80 Statham's impact on the action thriller genre has been seen by Gabot as a replacement of the same undertaken by Arnold Schwarzenegger, Sylvester Stallone, and Jean-Claude Van Damme during their runs as headliners throughout the 1980s and 1990s. 80 Statham himself cites Stallone, Bruce Lee, Paul Newman, Steve McQueen, and Clint Eastwood as his inspirations. 83 An article by Times Higher Education reported that Manchester University Press commissioned an academic study analysing the impact Statham has had on the British and American film industries from his debut in 1998 to 2018. According to the article, Professors Stephen Gerrard and Robert Shale are looking to show the changing face of British cinematic masculinity into one that embraces cinema across a wide range of projects, but one that also uses cross-textual media in his output. 2. In popular media. In 2003, Statham appeared in 3 British television commercials for the Kit Kat chocolate bar. Described as a break philosopher, he philosophized about salmon swimming upstream, a Mexican fisherman, and the relative speeds and ages of animals, before ending with a reminder that taking a break, alluding to the Kit Kat slogan, is an important part of life. Citation needed. In the comic book series Ultimate Spider-Man, that series version of the villain Vulture was rendered by artist Mark Bagley to resemble actor Statham, per writer Brian Michael Bendis' instructions. 84. In the 21 Pilots song Pet Cheetah released in 2018, Statham is mentioned in the lyrics. 85. Personal life. Statham has been in a relationship with model Rosie Huntington-Whiteley since 2010. 86 The couple announced their engagement in January 2016. 87 Their son was born in June 2017. 88 Their daughter was born on February 2, 2022. 89 They lived in Beverly Hills for a number of years. 90 before moving back to London in 2020. 91 92 93 Statham holds a black belt in karate. 94 Statham enjoys wakeboarding, jet skiing, windsurfing, and rock climbing. 83. He is known for performing many of his own stunts. 5. While filming on location in Bulgaria for The Expendables 3, he drove a truck off the road in Varna and crashed into the Black Sea due to malfunctioning brakes. 69.95. In a 2013 interview with Vanity Fair, Statham advocated for stunt performers to be given their own category at the Academy Awards. All of the stunt men, these are the unsung heroes. They really are. Nobody is giving them any credibility. They're risking their necks. And then you've got Ponzi actors pretending like they're doing the stunts. 82. In 2014, Statham was inducted into the International Sports Hall of Fame. Emmy Raver-Lampman, born Emily Christine Raver-Lampman, September 5, 1988, 123 is an American actress and singer. She began her career working in musical theater, and has performed in various Broadway and national touring productions such as Hair, Jekyll and Hyde, Wicked, and Hamilton. She played Alison Hargreaves in the Netflix series The Umbrella Academy. Early life. Raver-Lampman was born and raised in Norfolk, Virginia. 4. She was adopted as a newborn. 5. Her mother Sharon is a professor at Old Dominion University. 6. While her father Greg is a writer and teacher. 7. 8. She was raised an only child, has traveled widely, over 50 countries, and lived in the Czech Republic, Ukraine, and India when she was young due to her mother's work. 9. She has a half-sister, who is her junior by 20 years. 10. She attended a performing arts high school, Governor's School for the Arts, as well as Morey High in Norfolk. 11. She then attended Marymount Manhattan College in New York City. She began working as a professional actress while in school and began studying remotely for her junior year. She landed a part in a production of Hair, and she left her course temporarily with just a semester left before graduation, but eventually returned to graduate with a Bachelor of Arts in Theater in 2012. 12.45. Career. Musical theater. Raver-Lampman's career began in musical theater. Her first professional theater role was in a May 2010 production of Children of Eden, produced by the Astoria Performing Arts Center. She auditioned for the musical while she was a sophomore at college and won a leading role. 9. She then auditioned for and subsequently joined the 2010 national tour of Hair, from which she earned her equity card. Raver-Lampman made her Broadway debut in summer 2011, when Hair made a return to Broadway with its touring production. 11. She left Hair when the production closed on Broadway that September. The following fall, Raver-Lampman joined the third national tour of the musical Jekyll and Hyde as an ensemble member and understudy for the lead role, Lucy Harris. The production transferred to Broadway in April 2013 for a 2-month limited engagement but closed after a month. Later in 2013, Raver-Lampman was cast in the Broadway original production of A Night with Janis Joplin. 13. She performed as a swing until the show closed in February 2014 and was subsequently cast in the first U.S. tour of the musical Wicked as a standby for the lead role of Elphaba. 11.14. Following her 1-year contract with Wicked, Raver-Lampman returned to New York in March 2015, and later auditioned for one of the 2 ensemble roles that Hamilton was adding to its show after its off-Broadway run. 9. She was cast and became part of the original ensemble cast of Hamilton on Broadway, as well as an understudy for all 3 lead female roles, Angelica, Eliza, and Peggy/Maria Reynolds. 4. Hamilton opened in August 2015. In September 2015, Raver-Lampman was part of a star-studded reading of an original rock musical titled Galileo. 15. In December of that year, she took part in an MCC theater workshop of Alice by Heart. 16. In January 2016, it was announced that she was cast as Pearl Krabs in the Chicago production tryout of the musical SpongeBob SquarePants. 4. She left Hamilton in April 2016, and is one of the 2 original cast members who did not take part in the filming of the production. She returned to Hamilton later that year as an original member of the show's Chicago production, which began previews in September 2016. In March 2017, she joined the show's first national tour, starring as Angelica. She toured with the show until the end of 2017, performing in San Francisco and Los Angeles. 17. In late 2019, it was announced that she would be joining her former Hamilton castmate Solia Pfeiffer as co-stars of the new original musical Gun and Powder, directed by Robert O'Hara. The show had a month-long regional engagement in Arlington, Virginia, which opened on January 28, 2020. 18. Raver Lampman was featured on the 2019 album 7 Nights in Chicago by Dave Diggs and Rafael Casal. 19. Film and television. Raver Lampman landed her first major television role in 2017, portraying Alison Hargreaves in The Umbrella Academy, opposite actors Elliot Page and Tom Hopper, among others. 20. The show was filmed during the first half of 2018 and was released on Netflix in February 2019. The show was Netflix's third most popular series in 2019, with more than 45 million viewers. 21. Raver Lampman filmed the second season over 5 months in 2019, with the season premiering in July 2020. 22. Throughout 2019, she also had guest roles in television shows like A Million Little Things and Jane the Virgin. In July 2020, it was announced that Raver Lampman would be replacing Kristen Bell as the voice of Molly Tillerman in the Apple TV Plus series Central Park. The announcement came after Bell resigned from her role, due to a controversy over her performance as a mixed-race character. Raver Lampman voiced Molly in the second season of the series. 23. Raver Lampman had a number of roles in films, including major roles as Myra Jones in Blacklight 24 and FBI agent Verona Parker in The Beekeeper. 25. Personal life. Raver Lampman is in a relationship with Dave Diggs, whom she met in 2015 while they were performing together in Hamilton. 26. They announced the birth of their son in March 2024. 27. Raver Lampman and Diggs are expecting their second child. Jemima Rebecca Gemma Redgrave I, born January 14, 1965, is an English actress, and a member of the Redgrave family. She is best known for playing Dr. Eleanor Bramwell in Bramwell, 1995–1998, Kate Lethbridge Stewart in Doctor Who, 2012–2015, 2021–2025, and its spin-off The War Between the Land and the Sea, 2025, and Bernie Wolfe in Holby City, 2016–2018, 2021–2022. As well as television, she has appeared on stage and film, starring as Evie Wilcox in Howard's End. Early life. Redgrave was born in London on 14 January 1965. She is the daughter of actor Corin Redgrave and his first wife, Deirdre Hamilton Hill, a former fashion model. They divorced when Gemma was 9. As a child, she attended the Godolphin and Latimer School in Hammersmith. 3. She then enrolled at the London Academy of Music and Dramatic Art at the age of 18. Career. Stage. After graduation, Redgrave landed a succession of stage acting roles, in the 1988 stage production of Strindberg's Easter, in Lady Windermere's Fan in Belfast, Northern Ireland, as Emily in Thornton Wilder's Our Town, as Irina in a 1990 revival of Anton Chekhov's The Three Sisters in London's West End with her aunts Vanessa Redgrave and Lynn Redgrave, in 1993 in Alexander Griboyedov's Chatsky at the Almeida Theatre, London, and in A Midsummer Night's Dream in 2001 at the Albury Theatre, later the Noel Coward Theatre, London, playing Titania. In 2010, she appeared in New York's Public Theatre in The Great Game, Afghanistan, which featured 7 hours of on-stage acting. 5. Redgrave appeared in 4 of the 12 plays. 6. In 2012, she appeared alongside Ben Chaplin in Roger Mitchell's production of Farewell to the Theatre at the Hampstead Theatre, followed by starring roles in Donkey's Years, 2014, and An Ideal Husband, 2016. In 2018, Redgrave appeared in another Roger Mitchell production, appearing again alongside Ben Chaplin, this time in Joe Penhall's Mood Music at the Old Vic. 7. Television. She has appeared in many roles on British television, including leading actor roles as the eponymous Dr. Eleanor Bramwell in 4 series of ITV's Bramwell and as D.S. Eve Granger in Cold Blood. Redgrave also appeared as Eleanor in Roger Mitchell's The Buddha of Suburbia, a 4-part adaptation of the novel of the same name by Hanif Kureishi and with a soundtrack written and performed specifically for the production by David Bowie. Citation needed. Other prominent roles have included Francesca Rochester in Judge John Deed and Dee Stanton in Like Father, Like Son. In 2007, she portrayed Lady Bertram in Mansfield Park and Sophie Wall in Waking the Dead, followed by a 2009 appearance in the series, Unforgiven, written by Sally Wainwright. In 2013, she also appeared as Dr. Zoe Evans in the BBC One drama series Frankie. 8. From 2016 to 2018, Redgrave played former RAMC Surgeon Major Berenice Wolfe in the popular BBC medical drama Holby City. In 2019, she joined the cast of ITV's Grantchester as Amelia, the mother of the show's lead character, the Rev. Will Davenport. 9. On August 31, 2021, she made a surprise return to Holby City as Bernie Wolfe. 10. Doctor Who. In 2012, Redgrave was cast in the long-running science fiction program Doctor Who as Kate Lethbridge Stewart, daughter of recurring character Brigadier Alastair Gordon Lethbridge Stewart, who featured in the series' original 1963 to 1989 run. First appearing in The Power of Three, 2012, with the 11th Doctor, Matt Smith, Kate is the Commander-in-Chief of the fictional military organization unit, a role previously occupied by her father before his retirement. The character returned in the 50th anniversary special, The Day of the Doctor, 2013, which was simulcast on television and in cinemas across the world in 94 countries, earning a Guinness World Record for the world's largest ever simulcast of a TV drama. 11. Kate would go on to become a recurring character in Doctor Who, with Redgrave reprising the role in episodes with the 12th, Peter Capaldi, 13th, Jodie Whittaker, 14th, David Tennant, and 15th, Ncuti Gatwa, Doctors 12-13 as well as the 2025 spin-off series, The War Between the Land and the Sea. 14. Additionally, Redgrave began headlining the Big Finish audio drama spin-off unit, the new series as Kate alongside Ingrid Oliver as Osgood, whom Redgrave appeared on screen with multiple times in Doctor Who 15 and would go on to play Kate in other spin-off audio plays. Redgrave also featured as Kate in a promo video for Doctor Who, Time Fracture, an immersive experience that began running in London in April 2021. 16. Personal life. Gemma Redgrave, with her father Corin, and aunts, Lynn and Vanessa, add Poems from Guantanamo, 2007. Redgrave married Tim Owen, a barrister at Matrix Chambers, in 1992. They had a son, Gabriel, in 1994. The couple separated from 1997 to October 1998. They reconciled, however, and had another son, Alfie, in 2000. They have since divorced. She has a brother, Luke Redgrave, who is a camera operator 17 and 2 half-brothers, Arden and Harvey Redgrave. Her mother died in 1997-17 and her father died in 2010. 18. She is the granddaughter of Sir Michael Redgrave and Rachel Kempson, niece of actresses Vanessa Redgrave and Lynn Redgrave, and cousin of Joely Richardson, Carlo Nero, and Natasha Richardson. Her stepmother is the actress Kika Markham. Yarasaya Shahidi, born February 10, 2002, is an American actress and producer. She began her career as a child, appearing in the films Imagine That, 2009, Butter, 2011, and Alex Cross, 2012. Shahidi played a starring role as the oldest daughter Zoe Johnson in the ABC sitcom Blackish, 2014 to 2022, and its spin-off series Grownish, 2018 to 2024. 3. She received NAACP Image Award for Outstanding Supporting Actress in a Comedy Series for Blackish and 3 NAACP Image Award for Outstanding Actress in a Comedy Series nominations for Grownish. Time included her on the 30 Most Influential Teens of 2016 list. 4. She did voiceover work in the film Smallfoot, 2018, Fearless, 2020, Paw Patrol, the movie, 2021, and My Father's Dragon, 2022. Shahidi played her first adult lead role in the 2019 drama film, The Sun Is Also a Star. In 2023, she played Tinker Bell in the fantasy-adventure film Peter Pan and Wendy, and executive produced and starred in the romantic comedy drama film, Sitting in Bars with Cake. Early life and education. Yara Saya Shahidi was born in Minneapolis, Minnesota, to Carrie Salter Shahidi and Afshin Shahidi 5'6", a photographer. 3'7". Her mother, Carrie Shahidi, born Carrie Jamal Da Salter, is of African American and Choctaw heritage, and her father Afshin Shahidi is Iranian. 8. Afshin was one of the principal photographers for musician Prince, who kept a signed photo of Yara in his editing suite at Paisley Park. 9, 10, 11. The Shahidi family moved to California for Afshin's work when Yara was 4 years old. She is the older sister of child actor and model Sayed Shahidi, and they have a younger brother, Ehsan. 5. The rapper Nas is her first cousin once removed. 12. Yara means someone who is close to your heart in Persian. 5. Shahidi is a common surname in Iran and means martyr in Persian. Shahidi attended the Immaculate Heart School for middle and high school. She left to concentrate on her acting career, graduating in 2017 from Dwight Global Online School. 13, 14, 15. In 2017, Shahidi was admitted to Harvard University. She began her studies there in 2018 after taking a gap year one with a plan to major in interdisciplinary sociology and Black American studies. 13, 16. Shahidi graduated from Harvard in 2022. 1. Shahidi at the 2011 Toronto International Film Festival. Acting career. Shahidi began her career when she was 6 years old, 17, appearing in television commercials and print advertisements for companies such as McDonald's, Ralph Lauren, Target, Gap Kids, Disney, Guess Kids, and The Children's Place. She frequently worked with her mother and younger brother in various print and broadcast campaigns. Her first on-screen appearance was in an episode of HBO comedy series, Entourage, in 2007. In 2009, she had a recurring role as Jessica St. Clair's character daughter in the short-lived ABC comedy series, In the Motherhood. Later that year, she guest-starred on Cold Case and Wizards of Waverly Place. Shahidi made her big screen debut in 2009, starring opposite Eddie Murphy in Paramount Pictures' comedy film Imagine That 3, for which she received a Young Artist Award nomination for Best Leading Young Actress in a Feature Film. 18. She also appeared in the action film Salt in 2010 as a next-door neighbor to Angelina Jolie's character. The following year, she starred in the comedy film Butter that premiered at the Telluride Film Festival and garnered mixed reviews from critics. In 2012, she appeared in the action thriller film Alex Cross opposite Tyler Perry. From 2012 to 2013, Shahidi was a regular cast member in the syndicated sitcom The First Family, playing the role of Chloe Johnson, the daughter of President William Johnson. In 2013, she played young Olivia Pope in 2 episodes of the 3rd season of ABC political thriller series, Scandal. 19. 2014 to 2022. In 2014, Shahidi was cast as a 14-year-old Zoe Johnson, the eldest daughter of Anthony Anderson and Tracy Ellis Ross's characters in the ABC comedy series Blackish, created by Kenya Barris. 20. She won an NAACP Image Award for Outstanding Supporting Actress in a Comedy Series for the show's first season. 21 She also received Gracie Award for Outstanding Female Actor in a Breakthrough Role in 2016. 22 and Bet Young Stars Award at the 17th Bet Awards. 23 She left the series after 3 seasons but appeared as a recurring guest star in latter seasons. ABC announced in 2017 that Shahidi would be headlining a Blackish spin-off, titled Grownish, on its sister network Freeform. The series premiered on January 3, 2018, with the positive reviews from critics. 24 For her performance, Shahidi received 3 NAACP Image Awards nominations for Outstanding Actress in a Comedy Series. 25-26 She left the series after 5 seasons, but stayed as an executive producer and recurring guest star for its 6th and final season in 2023. 27. In 2016, Shahidi signed to model with New York's Women Management Modeling Agency, in hopes of providing a platform for more women of color. 20 Time included her on the 30 Most Influential Teens of 2016 list. 4 She was ranked one of the best-dressed women in 2018 by fashion website Net-a-Porter. 28 She was one of 15 women selected to appear on the cover of the September 2019 issue of British Vogue, by guest editor Meghan, Duchess of Sussex. 29 In 2021, Shahidi debuted a sportswear collaboration with Adidas. 30-31. In 2019, Shahidi played the leading role in the teen drama film, The Sun Is Also a Star, based on the young adult novel of the same name by Nicola Yoon. It was theatrically released in the United States on May 17, 2019, by Warner Brothers Pictures and Metro-Goldwyn-Mayer Pictures. The film received mixed reviews from critics and grossed $6.8 million worldwide. 32 She co-produced Academy Award for Best Animated Short Film winning film Hair Love, 2019. She did voice-over work in the film Smallfoot, 2018, Fearless, 2020, Paw Patrol, the movie, 2021, and My Father's Dragon, 2022. In 2020, Shahidi and her mother launched their production company Seventh Son and signed a deal with ABC Studios to produce shows. 33 Their first project was Smokeland, a single-camera comedy pilot for Freeform in 2021. 34 Later in 2021, it was announced that they develop adaptation of Cole Brown's book Greyboy, Finding Blackness in a White World. 35. 2023, present. Shahidi starred in the Apple TV Plus anthology series Extrapolations that premiered on March 17, 2023. 36 She played Tinker Bell in the fantasy-adventure film Peter Pan and Wendy, a remake of Peter Pan. 37 It premiered on Disney Plus on April 28, 2023. Later in 2023, Shahidi executive produced and played the leading role in the romantic comedy drama film Sitting in Bars with Cake alongside Odessa A. Zion. 38 The film received generally positive reviews from critics, with Shahidi's performance as a law student struggling to fulfill her role as a caregiver to her friend diagnosed with cancer receiving praise, though critics generally agreed that she had been overshadowed by A. Zion. 39-40 Carla Meyer of the San Francisco Chronicle felt that Shahidi's friendship with A. Zion was the most authentic element of the film. 41 She received NAACP Image Award for Outstanding Actress in a Motion Picture nomination for her performance. 42. Shahidi was set to star alongside Maddie Ziegler and Avantika in the thriller Pretty Lethal but exited the film. 43. Political activism. Shahidi founded 18x18 with social news publisher Now This 44, which will be a platform to encourage her peers to vote for the very first time in our upcoming midterm elections. Her other organizations include Yara's Club, a partnership with Young Women's Leadership Network, YWLN, of New York, which provides online mentorship in hopes to end poverty through education. 45-46. Shahidi's activism was noticed by former First Lady Michelle Obama, who wrote her a letter of recommendation to Harvard University. 47-48 She was also given the opportunity by Teen Vogue to interview Hillary Clinton in 2017. 4950. In 2021, Shahidi joined the D or Stand with Women campaign. 51. In October 2023, Shahidi signed an open letter for the Artists for Ceasefire campaign urging U.S. President Joe Biden to push for a ceasefire in the Gaza war. Adam Joseph Copeland, born October 30, 1973, is a Canadian professional wrestler and actor. He is signed to All Elite Wrestling, AEW, where he performs under his real name and is one half of the reigning AEW World Tag Team Champions with Christian Cage. He is best known for his tenures with the World Wrestling Federation/Entertainment, WWF/WWE, where he performed from 1998 to 2011 and again from 2020 to 2023 under the ring name Edge. Copeland made his professional wrestling debut in 1992, wrestling in many independent promotions and competing in singles and tag team competition, the latter with longtime friend Christian Cage. In 1997, he signed a developmental deal with the World Wrestling Federation, WWF, renamed WWE in 2002, and made his televised debut in 1998 under the ring name Edge. After winning the Intercontinental Championship in 1999, he formed a tag team with Christian, and the two won the World Tag Team Championship 7 times. During this time, they gained notoriety due to their participation in tables, ladders, and chairs matches. They are considered one of the major teams that revived tag team wrestling during the Attitude Era. 12. The team split in 2001 and Edge embarked on a successful solo career. He won a total of 31 championships in WWE, holding the World Heavyweight Championship, 2002 to 2013 version, a record 7 times, the WWE Championship 4 times, the Intercontinental Championship 5 times, the United States Championship once, the World Tag Team Championship a record 12 times, and the WWE Tag Team Championship twice. He is WWE's 14th Triple Crown Champion and 7th Grand Slam Champion. He won the 2001 King of the Ring tournament, the first Money in the Bank ladder match at WrestleMania 21 in 2005, and the 2010 Royal Rumble match, making him the first wrestler to achieve all 3. 13. Edge first retired in 2011 due to several neck injuries and was inducted into the WWE Hall of Fame the next year. 9 years after retiring, he returned to wrestling as a surprise entrant in the 2020 Royal Rumble match and won the next year's Royal Rumble, becoming the 8th man to win the Royal Rumble twice, the 3rd to win it as the first entrant, and the 1st to win it after being inducted into the WWE Hall of Fame. He headlined multiple pay-per-view, PPV, events for WWE, including WrestleMania 24 and WrestleMania 37, Night 2, being one of the company's most prolific PPV performers. 14. After his WWE contract expired in September 2023, he joined AEW the next month and debuted at Wrestle Dream, going on to win the AEW TNT Championship twice. Adam Copeland has acted in the films Highlander, Endgame, 2000, Bending the Rules, 2012, and Money Plane, 2020. He has made guest appearances on TV shows such as Weakest Link, Mind of Mencia, Deal or No Deal, MAD-TV, and The Flash. He played Dwight Hendrickson on the sci-fi series Haven, 2011 to 2015, Ketil Flatnose in Vikings, 2017 to 2020, and Ares in the Disney Plus series Percy Jackson and the Olympians, 2023, present, the latter of which earned him an Emmy Award nomination for Outstanding Supporting Performer in a Preschool, Children's or Young Teen Program. Early life. Part of a series on professional wrestling. History. Notable promotions. Notable men. Notable women. Notable tag teams and stables. By region. Styles. Concepts. Culture. Media outlets. Controversies. Lists. Related topics. Vede. Adam Joseph Copeland 15 was born in Orangeville, Ontario 7 on October 30, 1973. 16 The son of Judy Lynn Copeland, 1953 to 2018, 17 18 A single mother who worked 2 jobs to support him. 19 He has claimed to have never met, or even seen a photograph of, his father. 20 Copeland developed an interest in professional wrestling at a young age. At the age of 16, Copeland attended WrestleMania 6 at the Toronto Skydome in 1990, sitting in the 11th row at ringside and cheered for Hulk Hogan, who was defending the WWF Championship against Ultimate Warrior in the main event. Copeland has credited that match as the moment he realized he wanted to become a wrestler. 10/21/22 He met his friend and fellow future wrestler William Jason J. Riso, known by his ring name Christian Cage, in Orangeville when he was 10 years old. The two would often make trips to Maple Leaf Gardens in Toronto to watch their favorite wrestlers. 21 When Copeland was 17, he won an essay writing contest hosted by his local gym, the prize for which was free wrestling training with Sweet Daddy Siki and Ron Hutchison in Toronto. 1923 However, he put his wrestling aspirations aside to help his mother pay the bills. 24 Taking numerous jobs and then receiving a diploma in radio broadcasting from Humber College before resuming his wrestling training. 25 Professional wrestling career. Early career, 1992 to 1996. Copeland made his professional wrestling debut on Canada Day 1992, in an event at Monarch Park Stadium in Toronto. 26 Throughout the 1990s, he wrestled on the independent circuit in Ontario and the Great Lakes region of the United States under the ring name Sexton Hardcastle. 27 He became a part of the tag team Sex and Violence with Joey Legend. In the mid-1990s, he wrestled as Adam Impact for Tony Condello's Winnipeg promotion. In 1997, Sex and Violence became part of a larger stable called Thug Life, joining Christian Cage, Zach Wilde, Bill Scullion, and Rhino Richards. 7 During his independent career, he won the MWCW Tag Team Championship twice with Legend and the ICW Street Fight Tag Team Championship twice. 28 The duo of Hardcastle and Cage were known as Hard Impact before changing their name to the Suicide Blondes. 29 They also worked in Japan under the name the Canadian Rockers. 30-31 Copeland also wrestled as Damon Stryker against Meng on an episode of WCW Pro in February 1996. 9:32, Copeland stated in 2021 the name was intended to be Damian Stryker, but the on-screen caption of the name was incorrectly written. 33, in the summer of 1995, he worked a show in Ajax, Ontario, where Bret Hart's business manager, Carl DeMarco, was watching. Impressed, he suggested Copeland send an audition tape to the World Wrestling Federation, WWF. World Wrestling Federation / World Wrestling Entertainment / WWE, 1996 to 2023. Early years, 1996 to 1998. On May 10, 1996, Copeland replaced Bob Holly's opponent on short notice in the opening match of a WWF house show as Sexton Hardcastle in Hamilton, Ontario. 34. In 1996, Copeland initially made $210 per week while working for the WWF without an official contract. The company also paid for his outstanding college debt, which was around $40,000. 35 After a Grand Prix wrestling tour in the summer of 1997, DeMarco urged Copeland to go to Calgary, where Hart was informally training wrestlers while recovering from knee surgery. He spent his tour earnings on a plane ticket and landed with no money or place to stay. He called Johnny Smith, whom he met twice, and Smith agreed to give him food and shelter. Smith also drove Copeland to and from the gym and Hart's house, where he trained alongside Ken Shamrock, Test, Mark Henry, and Kurgan. Copeland returned to the Maritimes for another Grand Prix tour before going back to Hart's house, bringing Christian with him. After this camp, Hart was impressed enough to put in a good word for both men at the WWF. Copeland received a developmental contract with the WWF in 1997. 36 His first match was on November 10, 1997, in Ottawa, Ontario, losing to CFL football star Glenn Kulka. 37 The next day in Cornwall, Ontario, he faced and defeated Christian Cage at shotgun taping in a dark match. 38-39 This match is included on WWE Home Video's 2008 retrospective, Edge, A Decade of Decadence. From March to June 1998, Copeland appeared in many house shows and dark matches. Upon completing his training, Copeland made his WWF television debut on the June 22, 1998, episode of Raw as Edge. Copeland took the name Edge from an Albany radio station. 40. Edge's first televised match was on June 16, aired June 22, against Jose Estrada Jr., which ended prematurely by countout when Edge performed a somersault senton from the ring to the outside, legitimately injuring Estrada's neck. 41 In his first pay-per-view match at SummerSlam on August 30, he served as Sable's mystery tag team partner, defeating Jacqueline and Mark Marrow, and slammed Sable onto Marrow in a pinning position to pick up the win. 42 At Breakdown, In Your House on September 27, Edge faced Owen Hart in a losing effort, making it his first loss on WWF TV. 43 On the October 11th edition of Sunday Night Heat, Edge defeated Vader in Vader's final televised WWF match. 44 And at WWF Capital Carnage on December 6, Edge faced Tiger Ali Singh in a losing effort. 45. Teaming with Christian, 1998 to 2001. Main articles: The Brood and Edge and Christian. Edge, right, with Christian in their Brood attire, which they used along with Gothic symbols, in April 1999. In September, Edge began a feud against the vampire wrestler Gangrel. During the feud, Gangrel introduced Christian, Edge's storyline brother, as his ally. Eventually, Gangrel and Christian convinced Edge to join them, and the three of them formed a stable known as the Brood. 46. At Rock Bottom, In Your House on December 13, the Brood defeated the J.O.B. Squad in a six-man tag team match. At the Royal Rumble on January 24, 1999, Edge competed in the 30-man Royal Rumble match, being eliminated by Road Dogg. The Brood was later abducted and converted into the Undertaker's Ministry of Darkness. In May, the Brood broke away from the ministry after Christian was attacked by Ken Shamrock and forced to reveal the location of the captive Stephanie McMahon. 47 The Undertaker chose to have Christian punished for his trespass, but Edge and Gangrel stood by him and betrayed The Undertaker, leading to a brief feud with the Ministry. At Backlash on April 25, the Brood faced Ministry members Bradshaw, Farouk, and Midian in a losing effort. At King of the Ring on June 27, the Hardy Boys defeated Edge and Christian in a match to determine the number one contender to the WWF Tag Team Championship, after their first match on Sunday Night Heat ended in a no contest. Edge in April 1999. Edge captured his first singles championship, the WWF Intercontinental Championship, on July 24, defeating Jeff Jarrett at a house show in Toronto, Ontario. 48-49 Interestingly, the match wasn't booked this way. Edge explained in an interview in 2021 with Loudwire, "During the match we did this thing where I pinned Jeff Jarrett and the crowd thought I won and then they were gonna reverse it, but then Jack Lanza, who was the road agent at the time, walked out and said, 'Go get your belt.' I went, way we're calling an audible here." 50. Edge lost the title the next night to Jarrett at Fully Loaded on July 25. 48-51 At SummerSlam on August 22, Edge and Christian competed in a tag team turmoil match where they eliminated three teams, the Hardy Boys, Midian and Viscera, and Droz and Prince Albert before getting eliminated from the match by the Acolytes. At Unforgiven on September 26, Edge and Christian faced the New Age Outlaws for the WWF Tag Team Championship but failed to win the titles. Later in the year, Edge was placed in a storyline angle with the Hardy Boys. Gangrel soon betrayed both Edge and Christian and formed the new brood with their enemies, the Hardy Boys. They feuded with the Hardy Boys, as they went on to compete in a ladder match at No Mercy on October 17 for the managerial services of Terry Runnels and $100,000, which the Hardy Boys won. 52 The match was widely praised and described as the match of the year by various reviewers. 53 At Survivor Series on November 14th, Edge and Christian and the Hardy Boys faced Too Cool and the Hollis in a 4-on-4 Survivor Series elimination match where they lost. At Armageddon on December 12th, Edge and Christian competed in an 8-team battle royal which was won by the Acolytes. At the Royal Rumble on January 23, 2000, Edge competed in the Royal Rumble match where he was eliminated by Al Snow and Val Venis. Edge and Christian began a heel turn at No Way Out on February 27. Edge and Christian defeated the Hardy Boys in a tag team match to determine the number 1 contenders to the WWF Tag Team Championship. At WrestleMania 2000 on April 2, Edge and Christian defeated the Hardy Boys and the Dudley Boys to win the WWF Tag Team Championship in a triangle ladder match, which ultimately led to the creation of the tables, ladders, and chairs match. 54-55. Edge, right, and Christian performing one of their 5-second poses at King of the Ring in June 2000. At Backlash on April 30th, Edge and Christian defeated D-Generation X to retain the titles. At Judgment Day on May 21st, Edge, Christian and Kurt Angle lost a 6-man tag team match to Ricochet and Too Cool. Soon after, they lost the tag titles to Too Cool but won them back in a 4 corners elimination match at King of the Ring on June 25th. At Fully Loaded on July 23rd, they defended the titles against the Acolytes Protection Agency where they got disqualified but retained the titles. After retaining the titles at SummerSlam on August 27th, at Unforgiven on September 24th, Edge and Christian defended the titles against the Hardy Boys in a steel cage match where they lost the titles and were not allowed another title shot. At No Mercy on October 22nd, Edge and Christian, masked as Los Conquistadores, defeated the Hardys for the titles. The next night on Raw, the Hardy Boys dressed as the Los Conquistadores and defeated Edge in a handicap match after Christian was taken out backstage to regain the WWF Tag Team Championship. At Survivor Series on November 19th, Edge and Christian teamed with Right to Censor's Bull Buchanan and The Good Father in a 4-on-4 Survivor Series elimination match, where they lost to the Dudley Boys and the Hardy Boys. They regained the tag titles at Armageddon on December 10th in a fatal 4-way match, but lost them 8 days later to The Rock and The Undertaker. They won them back 3 days later on SmackDown, thanks to special guest referee Kurt Angle. During Edge and Christian's run as a tag team, they also competed as a team in the first 3 TLC matches, winning the first 2 over the Dudley Boys and the Hardy Boys, at SummerSlam in 2000 and then again at WrestleMania X7. 56-57 At the Royal Rumble on January 21, 2001, Edge and Christian were defeated by the Dudley Boys and lost the tag team titles. 57 They unsuccessfully attempted to regain the tag team title at No Way Out on February 25 against the Dudley Boys and the Brothers of Destruction. 57 But they succeeded at WrestleMania X7 on April 1 against the Dudley Boys and the Hardys in the second TLC match. 57 At Judgment Day on May 20th, Edge and Christian competed in a tag team turmoil match which was won by Chris Jericho and Chris Benoit. Days later on the May 24th SmackDown, Edge and Christian competed in a fatal 4-way tag team TLC match for the WWF Tag Team Championship where Benoit and Jericho retained the titles. Championship reigns and various feuds, 2001 to 2003. Edge solidified himself as an emerging singles competitor by winning the 2001 King of the Ring tournament and slowly becoming a fan favorite by siding with the WWF during the Invasion storyline. 58 Christian betrayed Edge shortly afterward. 59 And the two feuded over Edge's Intercontinental Championship, which he won at SummerSlam on August 19, that he later lost to Christian at Unforgiven on September 23, though Edge later captured the title in a ladder match at No Mercy on October 21. 60. Edge lost the Intercontinental Championship to Test on the November 5th episode of Raw 61 and shortly afterwards won the WCW United States Championship from Kurt Angle on the November 12th episode of Raw 62. Edge defeated Test at Survivor Series on November 18th to regain the Intercontinental Championship, which he unified with the United States Championship. 63. From there, Edge was placed in a feud with William Regal for the Intercontinental Championship. Edge first defeated Regal at Vengeance on December 9th to retain the championship. However, he lost the title to Regal at the Royal Rumble on January 20, 2002, and then his rematch against Regal at No Way Out on February 17 in a brass knuckles on a pole match. 64. At WrestleMania X8 on March 17, Edge defeated Booker T in a match that was the result of Edge beating out Booker T for a fictitious Japanese shampoo endorsement. 65. Shortly after defeating Booker T at WrestleMania, Edge was drafted to the SmackDown brand in the first WWF Draft Lottery. During this time, Edge also gained Never Gonna Stop, the Red Red Groovy, by Rob Zombie as his new entrance theme. Upon arriving there, he began a feud with Kurt Angle. At Backlash on April 21, Angle defeated Edge, which later culminated in Edge shaving Angle's head following a hair versus hair match at Judgment Day on May 19. 66. On the May 30 episode of SmackDown, Edge defeated Angle in a steel cage match to end the feud. During the match, Edge speared Angle from the top rope, injuring his own arm and forcing himself out of action for a month. 2 months later, he won the WWE Tag Team Championship alongside Hollywood Hulk Hogan on the July 4 episode of SmackDown by defeating Billy and Chuck. 67. Edge and Hogan lost the titles at Vengeance on July 21 to the Un-Americans, Lance Storm and Christian, and at SummerSlam on August 25, Edge defeated Eddie Guerrero, then lost to Guerrero at Unforgiven on September 22. They met one final time days later on SmackDown in a no disqualification match where Edge won, ending the feud. He then formed a tag team with Rey Mysterio, and the two participated in a tournament for the newly created and SmackDown exclusive WWE Tag Team Championship. They lost to Kurt Angle and Chris Benoit in the finals of the tournament at No Mercy on October 20. The match was voted Match of the Year by the Wrestling Observer newsletter. 68. After they failed in winning the titles, Mysterio and Edge defeated Los Guerreros in a number 1 contenders match on the October 24 episode of SmackDown to earn a title shot. 69. At the Rebellion pay-per-view on October 26, Edge faced Brock Lesnar and Paul Heyman in a handicap match for the WWE Championship where Lesnar retained the title after Lesnar pinned Edge. On the November 7 episode of SmackDown, Edge and Mysterio defeated Angle and Benoit in a 2 out of 3 falls match to win the WWE Tag Team Championship. 70. They soon lost the tag titles to Los Guerreros in a triple threat elimination match that also involved former champions Angle and Benoit at Survivor Series on November 17. 71. After losing the title, Edge and Mysterio went their separate ways to focus on their singles careers. At the Royal Rumble, Edge competed in the 30-man Royal Rumble match on January 19, 2003, where he had 3 eliminations before getting eliminated by Chris Jericho. Edge then teamed up with Chris Benoit, facing Team Angle in a series of singles and tag team matches. Prior to No Way Out, Edge suffered a legitimate neck injury, rendering him unable to compete in his scheduled match. The injury stemmed from a bump he took on a closed ladder on the September 26, 2002, edition of SmackDown. While wrestling Eddie Guerrero, who then frog splashed him while he was still laying on the ladder. His arms would then numb more and more in the following months before deciding to have the surgery, as he was gradually in more pain and did not want to risk dropping an opponent dangerously because of his numb arms. 72. At No Way Out on February 23, Edge was written off television through a backstage attack. He then underwent surgery with Dr. Lloyd Youngblood and was sidelined for over a year. 73. World Championship Pursuits, 2004 to 2005. Edge in 2005 with the Money in the Bank briefcase. Edge was drafted to the Raw brand in the 2004 WWE Draft Lottery on the March 22, 2004, episode of Raw, where he speared Eric Bischoff and returned to in-ring action shortly after the event. 74 at Backlash on April 18, Edge defeated Kane 75, and on the April 19 episode of Raw, he and World Heavyweight Champion Chris Benoit won the World Tag Team Championship from Batista and Ric Flair. 76 They continued a close partnership even after losing the title. At Bad Blood on June 13, Edge and Benoit defeated La Resistance, who defeated them for the titles on the May 31 episode of Raw, in a match for the World Tag Team Championship by disqualification but did not win the titles. The team disbanded when Edge won the Intercontinental Championship at Vengeance on July 11, defeating Randy Orton, thus becoming a 5-time Intercontinental Champion. 77 At SummerSlam on August 15, Edge defeated Chris Jericho and Batista in a triple threat match to retain the Intercontinental Championship. 78 Following a legitimate groin injury in a non-televised match, Raw General Manager Eric Bischoff stripped Edge of the Intercontinental title on the September 6 episode of Raw. 79 Upon his return, Edge began to pursue the World Heavyweight Championship. Edge, Chris Benoit, and Shawn Michaels received a title shot for Triple H's World Heavyweight Championship at Taboo Tuesday on October 19. Michaels won the audience vote to receive the title shot, giving Edge and Benoit a tag team title shot against La Resistance. They regained the titles. During the match, an angry Edge abandoned Benoit and instead interfered in the World Heavyweight Championship match, costing Michaels the championship. 80 On the November 1 episode of Raw, Edge and Benoit lost the World Tag Team Championship back to La Resistance, with Edge abandoning Benoit again and sitting in a chair and watching the match. After the conclusion of the match, Edge attacked Benoit, turning heel for the first time since 2001. 81 Edge also gained a new entrance theme, Metalingus, performed by the then newly established band, Alter Bridge. At Survivor Series on November 14, Edge was part of Team Triple H along with Triple H, Batista, and Gene Snitsky. They were defeated by Team Orton, Randy Orton, Chris Benoit, Chris Jericho, and Maven. During the match, Edge eliminated both Benoit and Jericho before getting eliminated by Orton. 82 On the November 29 episode of Raw, both Edge and Benoit competed in a number 1 contenders battle royal, but they eliminated each other simultaneously at the conclusion of the match, resulting in a draw. 83 As a result, Triple H was forced to defend the title in a triple threat match. In the match, Benoit locked the crippler crossface on Edge, who shifted his weight, putting Benoit's shoulders on the mat for a pin. This match also ended in a draw for Benoit and Edge, as Benoit made Edge submit at the same time the referee counted a pinfall for Edge. 83 As a result, the World Heavyweight title was vacated the following week on Raw. 84 On January 9, 2005, Edge competed in his first Elimination Chamber match at New Year's Revolution for the vacant World Heavyweight Championship. Special guest referee Shawn Michaels performed a super kick on Edge, in retaliation for an accidental spear by Edge, causing Edge to be the first eliminated. 85 This led to a match at the Royal Rumble on January 30, in which Edge defeated Michaels. Edge also competed in the Royal Rumble match later that night, where he lasted until the final 3 but was eliminated by eventual winner Batista and John Cena. 86 Alliance with Lita and WWE Champion, 2005 to 2006. At WrestleMania 21 on April 3, Edge won the first ever Money in the Bank ladder match, gaining a contract that gave him a shot at the World Heavyweight Championship within 1 year. 87 According to a podcast interview with Chris Jericho, Copeland said that he did not initially like the idea of the ladder match and even told WWE management not to include him on the WrestleMania 21 card altogether. However, he was talked into competing by the other participants like Jericho and Kane, who said the match had the potential to be a big success. 88 At Backlash on May 1, Edge defeated Chris Benoit in a last man standing match to end the feud. 89. Several weeks after, Edge was then paired with Lita, his real-life girlfriend at the time, in an angle in which she betrayed her storyline husband Kane, by costing him the Gold Rush Tournament Finals match to determine the number one contender for the World Heavyweight Championship on the May 16th episode of Raw. 90. The next week, Edge received his World Heavyweight Championship match against Batista, which he lost. 91. Edge started a feud with Kane, leading to several matches between them, including one at Vengeance on June 26, when Edge lost to Kane. 92. After trading several victories on Raw, the feud ended in a stretcher match on the July 25th episode of Raw that Edge won, but shortly after, Kane performed a tombstone piledriver on Lita and later abducted her in an ambulance. 93. Edge facing off against John Cena during a WWE house show in 2006. On the July 11th episode of Raw, Edge's match with Kane was interrupted when Matt Hardy made a surprise appearance. Hardy referred to Edge by his real name and issued a threat to Lita as well. 94. When Hardy was officially brought back to Raw, he and Edge continued their feud, including a match at SummerSlam on August 21 where Edge defeated Hardy by referee stoppage, after causing Hardy to have excessive blood loss. 95. The next night on Raw, after a match Hardy had with Rob Conway, Edge then appeared and overpowered Hardy. He then wedged Hardy's head between the steel steps and the ring post, and then kicked the steel steps into Hardy's head. 96. On the August 29th episode of Raw, Edge and Hardy fought in a street fight, which resulted in a no contest when Hardy performed a side effect on Edge off the entrance ramp into the sound speakers and other electrical equipment. 97. They also fought in a steel cage match at Unforgiven on September 18 in which Hardy defeated Edge. 98. The feud culminated in a loser leaves Raw ladder match on Raw Homecoming on October 3, which Edge won. 99. After the match, Hardy left the Raw brand to go to the SmackDown brand, while Edge suffered a legit torn pectoralis major muscle that kept him shelved for a couple of months. 100. During his time off, he starred in his own talk show segment on Raw entitled The Cutting Edge 101, dubbing himself the Rated R Superstar. Edge used his talk show to start a feud with Ric Flair following Flair's well-publicized arrest in connection with the road rage incident. 101. 102. Edge eventually began using the cutting edge as a soapbox to run down Flair until, after weeks of public mockery, Flair eventually showed up and attacked Edge. 103. Edge and Flair formally met at the New Year's Revolution event on January 8, 2006, in a match for Flair's Intercontinental Championship, which resulted in Flair retaining after Edge was disqualified. 104. Edge and Lita in July 2005. Although Edge had lost his scheduled match at New Year's Revolution, that would not be his only match that evening, as the main event saw John Cena, the reigning WWE Champion, defend his title in an Elimination Chamber match. After a bloody Cena won the match, WWE Chairman Vince McMahon revealed that Edge was cashing in his Money in the Bank contract to face Cena for the championship immediately. After 2 spears, Edge quickly defeated Cena to win the WWE Championship, marking his first world title win. 104. The following night on Raw, Edge decided to celebrate his victory by having hot, unbridled sex in the middle of the ring. He and Lita engaged in foreplay until they were interrupted by Flair, who called Edge a disgrace and that he was horrible in the sack. 105. Flair, however, ended up on the receiving end of a concerto on the announcer's table until Cena came out to Flair's aid and performed en fou on Lita. 105. The live sex celebration segment earned Raw a 5.2 rating. 106. The highest Raw rating in over a year. 107. Leading Edge to call himself the most watched champion ever. 108. On the January 16th episode of Raw, Edge defeated Ric Flair in a TLC match to retain the WWE Championship. 108. At the Royal Rumble on January 29th, Edge lost the WWE Championship back to Cena. 109. Edge then lost a rematch on the February 16th episode of Raw and blamed special guest referee Mick Foley for his loss. 110 They feuded until WrestleMania 22 on April 2nd, where Edge defeated Foley in a hardcore match by spearing him through a flaming table. 111 But suffered second-degree burns, thanks to anti-flame material not being applied to the table, at both wrestlers' request. 112-27 According to Copeland, the match with Foley proved him as a main eventer. 113 After losing a triple threat match at Backlash for the WWE Championship. 114 Edge teamed with Foley, pointing as hardcore champions. 115 At ECW One Night Stand on June 11, Edge, Foley and Lita defeated Dreamer, Terry Funk, and Beulah McGillicuddy in an Extreme Rules tag team match. 116 Later in the event, Edge interfered in the WWE Championship match between John Cena and challenger Rob Van Dam, helping Van Dam win the title after he speared Cena through a table. 116. Edge, pictured with his custom rated R spinner belt, at Unforgiven during his second WWE Championship reign. While Edge lost a match for the WWE title at Vengeance on June 25, 117 he won the championship on the July 3 episode of Raw during a triple threat match. 118 This angle reignited Edge's feud with Cena, retaining the title against him at SummerSlam on August 20. 119 The night after SummerSlam, Lita disposed of Cena's customized spinner belt into the Long Island Sound and he unveiled the new rated R version of the belt. 120 Edge lost the title to Cena in a TLC match at Unforgiven on September 17, a PPV that took place in Edge's hometown of Toronto. 121. Rated RKO, 2006 to 2007. Main article, Rated RKO. Edge tagging with Randy Orton as Rated RKO in 2006. On the October 2 episode of Raw, interference from the newly reformed D-Generation X, DX, Triple H and Shawn Michaels, cost Edge his final chance at John Cena's WWE Championship in a steel cage match, though their interference was a response to the interference of Lance Cade and Trevor Murdoch. 122 It led to Edge approaching Randy Orton and asking him to join forces to defeat DX, which Orton accepted and joined an alliance with Edge. 123 The two formed the tag team Rated RKO. 124 At Cyber Sunday on November 5, Rated RKO defeated DX with Eric Bischoff as the special guest referee. 125 On the November 13 episode of Raw, Rated RKO defeated Ric Flair and Roddy Piper to win the World Tag Team Championship, making Edge a record 11-time Tag Team Champion. 126 127 At Survivor Series on November 26, Rated RKO teamed with Johnny Nitro, Mike Knox, and Gregory Helms to face Team DX, Triple H, Shawn Michaels, CM Punk, Matt Hardy, and Jeff Hardy, in a Survivor Series match, but lost when all members of Team Rated RKO were eliminated in a clean sweep. 128 Also that month, Lita retired, and her on-screen relationship with Edge abruptly ended, with no explanation. As part of the storyline angle, Rated RKO attacked Ric Flair with steel chairs to enrage DX on the November 27 episode of Raw. 129 At New Year's Revolution on January 7, 2007, Rated RKO defended the World Tag Team Championship against DX, but the match was declared a no contest when Triple H suffered a legitimate injury during the match. 130 At the Royal Rumble on January 28, Edge competed in the 30-man Royal Rumble match where he lasted the longest in the match with a time of 44 minutes, eliminating 5 men and making it to the final 4 in the match before getting eliminated by Shawn Michaels. With Triple H out of action, the team continued their on-screen rivalry with remaining DX member Shawn Michaels. Michaels teamed with John Cena to defeat Rated RKO for the World Tag Team Championship on January 29, 2007. 131 Edge and Orton suffered a series of losses to Cena and Michaels in the following months. Edge competed in the Money in the Bank ladder match at WrestleMania 23 on April 1 in a losing effort. During the match, Matt Hardy threw him onto a ladder and encouraged Jeff Hardy, who was close to the winning briefcase, to finish him off. Hardy then leaped off the 20-foot-high, 6.1 m, ladder, and drove him through the ladder with a leg drop, seemingly injuring both Edge and himself. The two were unable to continue the match and were removed from ringside on stretchers. 132 After this, Edge and Orton also became rivals in their goals of achieving the WWE Championship. Neither Edge nor Orton won the championship, and they lost their claims as number one contenders after a failed match with Cena at Backlash on April 29. 133. La Familia, 2007 to 2009. Main article, La Familia. After WrestleMania, it was revealed that the winner of the 2007 Money in the Bank contract, Mr. Kennedy, suffered an injury, so WWE booked Edge to defeat him for the briefcase on the May 7 episode of Raw. 134 Edge thus became the first person to gain the Money in the Bank contract twice and the first not to do so in the latter match. 135 He cashed the briefcase 4 days later on SmackDown against the World Heavyweight Champion The Undertaker after he retained the title against Batista in a steel cage match and was attacked by Mark Henry. 136 As a result, Edge became a member of the SmackDown roster. Edge then retained the title against Batista at Judgment Day on May 20. 137 One Night Stand on June 3 in a steel cage match. 138 And Vengeance on June 24 in a last chance match, though he did lose to Batista in a non-title match on the June 29, 2007, episode of SmackDown, to end the feud. 139 Edge then began a feud with Kane after SmackDown. General Manager Theodore Long announced Kane as the new number one contender for the World Heavyweight Championship at the Great American Bash on July 22. 140 Edge was forced to relinquish the World Heavyweight Championship due to a legitimately torn left pectoral muscle on the July 20 episode of SmackDown. 141. Edge alongside Curt Hawkins and Zack Ryder, three principal members of La Familia. On November 18, at Survivor Series, Edge made his return, interfering in a World Heavyweight Championship Hell in a Cell match between Batista and The Undertaker, helping Batista win the match. 142 The following SmackDown show saw Edge and General Manager Vickie Guerrero make their relationship public. 143 Making his official in-ring return in a World Heavyweight Championship match against Batista on the November 30 episode of SmackDown, a match that ended after The Undertaker interfered. 144 At Armageddon on December 16, Edge won his second World Heavyweight Championship, after giving The Undertaker 2 chair shots and pinning the defending champion Batista, who had been tombstoned by The Undertaker prior, in a triple threat match. During the match, the Major Brothers, who looked similar to Edge, distracted Batista and Undertaker. 145. As a champion, a stable was created, which included the Major Brothers, repackaged as Curt Hawkins and Zack Ryder, Chavo Guerrero, Vickie Guerrero, and Bam Neely, being known as La Familia, Spanish for the family. Edge then successfully defended the World Heavyweight Championship over Rey Mysterio at the Royal Rumble on January 27, 2008. 146 And again at No Way Out on February 17. 147. Edge before facing Undertaker at WrestleMania XXIV in 2008. At WrestleMania XXIV on March 30, Edge lost the World Heavyweight Championship to The Undertaker when he tapped out to the Hell's Gate. 148 The match was booked for Edge to retain and break The Undertaker's streak, but Edge refused to win the match. 149 150 In a WrestleMania rematch, The Undertaker defeated Edge once again at Backlash on April 27 to retain the World Heavyweight Championship. 151 Following Backlash, The Undertaker was stripped of the World Heavyweight Championship by Vickie Guerrero for using the Hell's Gate, which she previously banned. 152 After winning a tournament to determine who would face The Undertaker for the vacant championship. 153 The two met at Judgment Day on May 18th, which ended in Edge losing via countout. However, since championships cannot change hands via countout, no champion was crowned. 154 A rematch was scheduled for One Night Stand on June 1st, in a TLC match. On the May 23rd episode of SmackDown, Vickie Guerrero added a stipulation that stated if The Undertaker were to lose, he would be kayfabe banished from the WWE. 155 At One Night Stand, Edge defeated The Undertaker, winning the World Heavyweight Championship for the third time. 156. On June 29th, Edge retained his championship against Batista at Night of Champions, after interference from La Familia. 157 The next night on Raw, Edge appeared to gloat that two of the top championships were on SmackDown, as WWE Champion Triple H was drafted to SmackDown in the WWE Draft earlier that week. A vengeful Batista then appeared and incapacitated Edge with the Batista Bomb. Just as Batista was leaving, CM Punk ran to the ring carrying his Money in the Bank briefcase, with referee in tow, who then cashed in the briefcase. Edge, who was still knocked down from the attack by Batista, was easily pinned by Punk after a go-to-sleep, losing the World Heavyweight Championship. Due to this win, the championship became exclusive to the Raw brand. 158. On the July 4th episode of SmackDown, Edge took his frustrations out on Vickie because he lost the title and told her the wedding was off. 159 The following week, however, after Guerrero saved Edge from a concerto by The Big Show, Edge reproposed, and the wedding was back on. 160 On the July 18th episode of SmackDown, at the wedding reception, Triple H came out and showed a video of Edge cheating on Guerrero the day before with the wedding planner, Alicia Fox. At the Great American Bash on July 20th, Edge faced Triple H for the WWE Championship in a losing effort. 161 Edge attempted to apologize to Guerrero, but she revealed to him that she had rehired The Undertaker and that Edge would face him in a Hell in a Cell match at SummerSlam on August 17th. 162 Edge then turned on La Familia during the August 8th episode of SmackDown, performing a one-man concerto on Chavo Guerrero in the ring, and tossed Vickie out of her wheelchair, effectively disbanding the faction. 163 At SummerSlam, The Undertaker defeated Edge, and after the match, The Undertaker chokeslammed Edge off the top of a ladder and through the ring canvas, with flames rising from the hole. 164. Edge celebrating after winning his fourth WWE Championship. On November 23, at Survivor Series, Edge returned to WWE after an introduction by SmackDown General Manager and his on-screen wife Vickie Guerrero, replacing Jeff Hardy in the triple threat match for the WWE Championship involving champion Triple H and Vladimir Kozlov. He pinned Triple H to become the WWE Champion for the third time in his career. 165 Edge lost the title to Hardy at Armageddon on December 14 in a triple threat match, which also featured Triple H. 166 At the Royal Rumble on January 25, 2009, however, Edge regained the title in a no disqualification match, following Matt Hardy's interference. 167 At No Way Out on February 15, Edge lost the WWE Championship in an Elimination Chamber match after being pinned by Jeff Hardy, being the first to be eliminated, with the title eventually being won by Triple H. 168 Later that night, Edge inserted himself into the World Heavyweight Championship Elimination Chamber match after attacking Kofi Kingston and barricading himself inside one of the chamber's pods, proceeding to win his fourth World Heavyweight Championship, last eliminating Rey Mysterio and taking the title over to SmackDown. 169 At WrestleMania 25 on April 5, Edge lost the championship to John Cena in a triple threat match, which also included Big Show, causing the title to go back to Raw, 170 but regained the championship for a fifth time at Backlash on April 26, when he defeated Cena in a last man standing match, after interference by Big Show, bringing the title back to SmackDown. 171 After a successful defense against Jeff Hardy at Judgment Day on May 17, 172, he lost the title to Hardy at Extreme Rules on June 7 in a ladder match. While Hardy was celebrating, CM Punk cashed in his Money in the Bank and defeated Hardy to win the World Heavyweight Championship. 173 The following night on Raw, Guerrero resigned as the Raw General Manager due to being humiliated, and Edge came out to apologize. Instead, however, he confessed he married Guerrero only because she had authoritative powers as the General Manager, and sought a divorce. 174 On the June 15 episode of Raw, Edge received his rematch for the World Heavyweight Championship in a triple threat match against both Hardy and Punk, but was pinned by Punk. 175. Edge won the Unified WWE Tag Team Championship, the unified version of the World Tag Team Championship from the Raw brand and the WWE Tag Team Championship from the SmackDown brand, with Chris Jericho at the Bash on June 28 after he and Jericho were inserted into what was originally a match between reigning champions the Colóns and Legacy. The win made Edge a record-setting 12-time World Tag Team Champion. 176 On July 3, Edge suffered a torn Achilles tendon while competing at a live event in San Diego in a match against Jeff Hardy, and later underwent surgery. It was reported that he could be out of action for up to a year. 177 During Edge's absence, Jericho replaced him with Big Show, forming Jerry Show, and Jericho began to speak badly of Edge, mocking him for his injury. 178. Record-breaking World Heavyweight Champion, 2010 to 2011. Edge after winning the Royal Rumble in January 2010. At the Royal Rumble pay-per-view event on January 31, 2010, Edge returned from injury by entering the Royal Rumble match as the 29th surprise entrant, where he won the Royal Rumble match for the first time in his career, after last eliminating John Cena. 179 At Elimination Chamber on February 21, after Chris Jericho won the World Heavyweight Championship, Edge challenged Jericho for the World Heavyweight Championship at WrestleMania XXVI after a surprise attack on Jericho, turning face for the first time since 2004. 180 At WrestleMania on March 28, Edge failed to win the title. 181 Edge defeated Jericho in a steel cage match at Extreme Rules on April 25, ending their feud. 182. On April 26, as part of the 2010 WWE Draft, Edge was drafted to the Raw brand, also costing Randy Orton a title shot, by spearing him in a triple threat match against Batista and Sheamus. 183 On the April 30 episode of SmackDown, Edge said goodbye to the SmackDown fans. However, Edge turned on the fans by calling them puppets for chanting for him and later tried a sneak attack on his former tag team partner Christian, thus turning heel once again. 184 Edge began a feud with Randy Orton, with both Edge and Orton gaining the upper hand over one another. Much of the antagonism stemmed of Orton's refusal to reform Rated RKO with Edge, as